Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well. Hope you're having a great day. I'm trying to fix my camera here. Um, Wanted to share this video because I posted something in another uh, Facebook group that I operate regarding a conversation I had with Zach last night. He came to me and asked me the question of, is it bad that I don't know yet what I want to be, what I want to do for my career? Now, mind you, he's 14 years old, halfway through his high school career. So he's still relatively young, but we start thinking about these things when you get into your high school career and look beyond that to college and beyond that. Apparently, one of his teachers just innocently asked him that question. I think just to strike up a conversation. I don't think there was anything more to it than that. And he unfortunately inherited the perfectionist gene from me. I was for many years and still am to a certain extent someone that wants it to be done what I believe to be perfect, how it looks perfect in my eyes. And I've tried to help him break him of that by being less and less of that myself, setting the example. Doesn't always work out quite the way I want it, but that's the goal. So we had that conversation, and I shared with him, a story, and I'll briefly summarize it because I posted in this group. But when I went to college back in 1989, I think that's right, 1989, I was going to go to law school. I was going to get a political science degree, go to law school, become an attorney. That was the goal. And I was so bored in my first political science class that I made the decision right then and there, however rash it may have seemed, to forego that, because if I couldn't be energized or really, connected to a class, to really, being involved in one class, if I was really that bored, how was I going to go through 4 years of that, 3 years of law school, and then a career, in the law? And I started looking around for things to do. I was taking my core classes, doing all that, but things to do, things to try, kind of get a sense of what I like and what I don't like, which took me to, the newspaper industry, because I started working for the college newspaper back then just to try out some things, and they needed somebody to cover the football team, and I'm a big sports guy. I like to write. I read the newspaper growing up all the time. It seemed like a perfect match, and that's what I ended up going to. But the more and more I think about it now, I mean, and I'll be honest with you. Let me preface this by saying I was in it for 26 years. So I must have enjoyed it to a certain extent. And I got to cover a lot of great, sports figures. I got to write a lot of great stories, got to meet a lot of great people. So I can't say that it was all bad, because I wouldn't have survived 26 years if it had been. But thinking back on it more and more, it made me think that if I was doing it simply because that's what I knew. That's what I knew. Since freshman year of college, I was going to be a newspaper reporter. I was going to cover sports, and I figured I'd start my career there and I'd end it there. I'd retire in sports journalism. Or if I just did it because I was afraid. I was afraid to try something new. And I'll be honest, I have plenty of examples where that's the case. One that I remember right off the top of my head was we were living, Shelly and I don't recall if we were married at the time. I don't think we were. But actually, no, we weren't married, because we didn't get married till we got to Erie. I'm going to ramble now. But we were living in Savannah, Georgia, and I was offered a position covering NASCAR for a paper in Richmond, Virginia. I had an opportunity to go do that, and I turned it down. And I convinced myself that it was because, I didn't want to leave Shelly, didn't want to leave, two young kids, and Anthony and Nick at the time. And that was to a certain extent the truth, but also I was afraid. That was going to be by far the biggest gig I'd ever done. Professional sports, motor racing up to that point, and I was too afraid. A lot of travel would be involved. I'd be out, I'd be gone most of the year. I was afraid to do that because it would be completely out of the realm of what I'd been doing previously. So I turned it down. And to a certain extent, I wouldn't say I regret it, but I certainly wonder every now and again, what if? How would my life be different? Uh, and it's hard to pinpoint one way or the other how it would have turned out. But I wonder what would have happened if I had taken that job. But that's just one example. There's quite a few, and it ties into this book in the sense of that was part of the journey. Going from fear to freedom, understanding that with great reward comes great risk. If you want to win big, you got to go in big. You got to go all in. You got to take that opportunity. And I think having the support of Shelley and the boys back then when we moved to Erie, so I could go cover hockey. That made it the change to doing to taking that job a little bit easier to push through. It wasn't quite as scary. But at the same time, I allowed opportunities to slip on by while in my 15 years at Erie. I never imagined I would have been there as long as I was, but I did it because it was familiar. I knew it. I was good at it. There was, I didn't want to upset the apple cart, if you will. I didn't want to go do something else and end up falling flat on my face. Again, fear. So then I shared with Zach about, what it took to make the 180 from sports journalism and the life I led back then to health and fitness. I mean, you can't get further away from two industries like those two are. And, how hard it was, how challenging it was, especially given the fact that, income is unpredictable in this field. You're not a W-2 employee, even if you're working for somebody else. So income can vary. You can make, a good bit in 1 month and make absolutely nothing the next. And how scary that was, and still is. Running my own business still is. I still fear it to this day, but it's a catalyst for me. It's not holding me back. It's keeping me sharp. It's pushing me forward. It's making me do the work even when I don't want to. So that's what I shared with him, in the sense that find what you enjoy, even if it seems outside the box, outside of your comfort zone. Find what you're passionate about. Again, especially if it's outside your comfort zone, because that's where the true happiness and value and quality of life lie. Not just financial success, but just success personally, happiness. And it seemed to, I guess, make him feel a little bit better, because now he understands that he's not behind, that he's right where he's supposed to be at this very moment. He's not supposed to know it all, but he's supposed to try anything and everything he can think of to find what really gets him, what really draws him in. So I just wanted to share that with you, because that all ties into what I share in the book, the lessons I learned, the mistakes I made, because it's just like writing a book. Doing anything that's outside the norm for us is not an easy thing to do. It's very challenging. It's very scary, but that shouldn't stop us from following. If it really means that much to us, it shouldn't stop us from going after it and getting it. Hope you're all doing well. I appreciate you joining the group as always. It's great to have you a part of this journey for me, heading into the launch day on the 25th of next month. And I appreciate all your support. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.